Hello everyone, I am Hacklebeast, and I am happy to be casting the very first set of this session of Nation Wars, sponsored by the Swedish Brood War Initiative. Huge thanks to them, huge thanks to Javelataran for setting that all up. And oh boy, are we starting off with a doozy of a set between Russia and Poland. In the top right is LancerX, aka Must, as the very talented teal Protoss. And in the bottom left, as the red Zerg, the equally talented Southpark. And what a great map to be starting out on. We are on match point. I am back after quite a long time of not casting. Probably going to be a little bit rusty here or there, but hopefully me stuttering a little bit will be made up for by the fact that I'm going to be super energetic about how awesome these games are, because I am really excited. When I only have the first 4 sets right now. The rest of the sets are being played out. This is not an indication that there are only 4 sets and one of the teams won 4-0. But when I got the first 4 sets, just looking at the names, there is not a bad set in the bunch. They are so good. And I am, it's going to be great. It is going to be great casting. Defi is correct. It is in fact a best of 3. The way Nation Wars works is it is a best of 7 comprised of 7 best of 3s. So potential for 21 games. Unlikely we'll get all the way up to 21 games, but theoretically we could, if it is that close between the two countries. We do have Southpark going for 9 pool speed, very Southpark of him, and LancerX, a little bit different of a wall than you normally see on match point, but it's pretty solid here. That's tight. Then there's 1 hole and 2 holes. So just pull a couple of probes and that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And it should be pretty obvious to Lancer that that will be a problem spot. Would really hate for him to get caught out by Southpark here. Southpark obviously known for his very strong, very early lings. You can see he has pulled the drones off of gas. Speed already halfway done, and he has a nice, healthy amount of lings here. Question is, how is he going to be using them as he makes even more? Wow. This is even heavy for Southpark. We are going to have quite a ling bust here. Now, this second Zealot is just starting now. It looks like he was just waiting for that pylon to warp in. And, ooh. Interesting. LancerX. That is a super preemptive photon cannon. He is just assuming that Southpark's not going... excuse me, that Southpark will be able just to bust through. Or maybe the idea is he thinks he can hold it, but he wants to play it safe anyway, just because he realizes Southpark is so late on this. He did get that probe in there for a very long time, keeping it alive. I mean, Lance is going to be playing this very defensively, even if Southpark is able to bust in here, which is looking pretty good that he's going to be able to, killing off that probe on the other side. 2 Zealots coming in. Might have been smart to split those Zealots up a little bit, but the Zergling's going to run completely past. There was only 1 cannon there. They might have been able to take it out, but Southpark has to be surprised at this point to find a cannon already completely warped in Lancer's base. And now it's a matter of, well, what am I going to do? I have to do something. I have 8 goddamn speedlings in my opponent's base. There's got to be something I can do here. Just a matter of picking your opportunities smartly. There's quite possibly going to be a good time to pick off that cannon. Maybe you can pick up that cannon. If he can get that cannon, game over. He absolutely wins with how late of an expansion Lancer's putting it down. But I mean, obviously in the best defensive position possible, and Lancer, being an A-level Protoss that he is, certainly knows how to probe drill. Southpark, he's just gonna scheme. Just gonna bide his time and scheme. I don't think he can hit the assimilator. Ooh, it's very close whether or not he can attack that assimilator, but I assume if he could attack the assimilator, he would have been. And going in, these should be some easy Zealot kills for Southpark here. Lancer getting a little bit careless there, but only going to cost him 1 Zealot. The other Zealot keeps most of its health. You have an Overlord in position here to see the Nexus going down. Was later because of that extra cannon here, but not too much later. Really not too much later, because there was just one cannon at the front. Just a little bit. He did get 2 out of 2 Zealots, though. That certainly slowed it down. But again, always got to compare it back to the Zerg. When the Zerg is going for 9 full speed link, this is not a bad Nexus not bad timing for the Nexus. Perfectly reasonable. Alright, so we see the Citadel from Lancer. Gonna go Citadel before Stargate. And we have enough gas? Are we gonna see a Stargate? Or is he just going to go straight for Templars? Do you have more Lings coming up from Southpark? Now, he kept all these alive so far with the exception of 1. 7 Lings very strong. And there's only 1 cannon here. Lancer does need to be a little bit careful with his... I mean, that 1 cannon was fine, considering that he had 1 back here in the early game. But if Southpark goes for a pincer here, coming out, attacking the wall from this side, and then 7 Link coming in from the back, which it looks like he's very clearly gearing up to do, Lancer could have some problems defending this. Does have a nice pack of Zealots, and he has a probe here. I'm pretty sure that's not an idle probe. I think Lancer, yeah, he's pulling probes. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought he was pulling probes to try to block this a little bit, just to be sure. 2 Zealots actually coming back here, scare back the Lings a little bit. But if he's not careful, the 7 Lings can take them out once again, keeping them almost within range of the cannon. And these Lings are coming in, poking. Is he going to go for it? No, he's not attacking quite yet. He's going to be attacking this Assimilator, hopefully drawing these Zealots out of position, and the rest of the Lings can come in as they are out of vision range. Lancer does not necessarily know about them, does not quite get the Assimilator, gets very close, but it still lives, and it's going to cost Southpark 2 Lings, but the Templar Archives is out of range of the cannon, and this is going to be a huge liability for Lancer at this point. He cannot afford to lose his Templar Archives before he gets out some Dark Templar, before he can get a Storm out. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get Storm. He might lose his Templar Archives to Southpark's initial Lings. Swooping back down, doing what Southpark does best, just devastating his opponent with constant Ling aggression, and it's not even a replenishment of Lings, it's just those original Lings. Lancer was feeling pretty confident in himself, allowing them to go to live in the first place and not pull back Zealots to attack, but now he might be starting to regret it. He's lost the Assimilator and that Templar Archives, certainly in a dangerous position here. And now they can just switch targets. There's only 1 cannon back here, and that 1 cannon, it was a very strong defense in the beginning, but now it's really just not enough. Oh, fancy little micro there, going to pick off a Zealot, not cost him a Ling, and now going in for the snipe on the Archives, ignoring the 1 Zealot that's attacking him. I think they're going to be able to take it down anyway. It's going to be close, but no! That 1 Zealot could in fact kill them off fast enough, and Storm has started that. Ooh, Southpark, there was only 1 Zealot attacking. He could have pulled back his Lings and attacked the Zealot, but he just wanted to get that Archives down, and he could not. That is certainly going to come back and haunt him. Looks like he sent out the first Dark Templar, and Hydra was able to clear it up. Looks like he lost a fair number of drones, though. Now Lancer moving out. He apparently does not have speed, but another wave of Speedlings coming in, able to finish off that Templar Archives. No Storm, no Templars. It doesn't look like there are any more Dark Templars. The one that was on the map... Oh, no, it's still alive. It was not killed. Excuse me. It's still sitting here with 6 drone kills. The Lings have been picked off. The Dark Templar going in, trying to take out the lone Hydralisk, and no, it's not going to... No, it's just going to let it live. Alright. Dark Templar getting a little bit confused there. That's fine. Zealots coming in. Speed is now done on them. It was not done at the start of the attack. And now Southpark forced to defend here, but ooh, there is no Sim City here. There is no natural choke here, so this is actually going to be a little bit difficult. Now making a bunch of sunken colonies. The Zealots are going to focus fire down the hatcheries, and he is not going to have a problem about not being able to finish off buildings. Not going to have a problem, right? He can get this. Wait. No way. No way! Southpark's able to hold it! I can't believe he was able to keep that alive! I thought for sure it was going to go down, but the reinforcement links coming down, the sunken colonies popping just in the nick of time, and the drones, when you get them stacked up and they're all able to fire consistently, don't need to move around, they can actually do a decent amount of damage. Was barely enough to keep that hatchery alive, but one slash from a DT could shut that down. Not that Lancer has any DTs, because he lost his Templar archives. Oh, Suicidal Zealots coming in, and no! Once again, unable! He got 2 hits off, but the thing had healed up enough that it still needs 2 more Zealot hits. And now, morphing in the lair, there are 2 lurkers out of the front, and there is a huge supply lead at this point for LancerX, but are these lurkers going to be enough to hold back that level of a supply lead? I mean, observers are coming out. It's going to make it rather difficult. Not able to kill the Forge in time to stop the +1 upgrade. It's a little bit of a shame Southpark couldn't get started on that sooner, but Lancer's going to be able to get by with it. The Templar Archives has been rebuilt. Storm has been restarted. It's actually a good deal of the way done. And now, a lot of Zealots coming out. Splash damage is a lot to these Zealots, but I don't think there's actually too much permanent damage to the Zealots. A lot of it's going to be shields that will recover by the time the next battle starts. Not a huge issue for as much damage as those lurkers did. Corsairs picking up 3 kills so far, but not an issue for Southpark. He doesn't exactly have a huge supply to be worried about here. Just now starting his Spire, a very late Spire for him. His economy has just been so bad this game. Starting with the Speedling opening, then getting harassed by that DT. And not only going Speedlings, but investing a lot in Speedlings. Very, very heavy Speedling opening. So. Also a little bit interesting that the Spire's in the natural. This doesn't need to be part of a wall? Actually, like, what is this wall? Like, he almost has a line to sunken colonies, but then he just didn't feel like unburrowing this lurker, so put it a little bit forward. And then this hatchery's over here, doing stuff. You can't make a good wall on match point because of this mineral field. Does stop you from putting the hatchery over here. I think that's what happened to Southpark here. He wanted to make a wall and put the hatchery here, then the Evo chamber here, but he found out he couldn't put the hatchery there, and it was too late to put the hatchery on the other side. I think, or maybe he just likes this. It's possible. Anyway, he has much more important things to worry about, because whether or not he had a good wall, this army would be able to crush it, and does appear to be... Excuse me, does appear that it's going to completely shut down this third base. There are some defenders here, but as long as there's an observer in tow, there we go. As long as there's an observer in tow, not going to make a huge difference. Zergling's getting cleaned up by the lone cannon and a couple of Dragoon reinforcements. Now, Lancer's going to get a little bit of a spread on his units. Try to not take too much damage from these lurkers, but he is just going to... Ooh, these Zealots. He's just going to lose a lot of Zealots here. Certainly enough to win the battle, but it's going to be a bit costly, and actually deciding to pull back after a while. Hygelus moving forward, trying to snipe the High Templar. No, not going to get the High Templar. And the Lynx from the back were attacking the Goons. So Lancer still has an army here. He's going to come in. Storm... No, these are trying to morph an Archon. Wow, there we go. And Templars missing each other, not very uncommon, but that close. Normally it's a very set dance. It's more of a waltz rather than, I don't know, swing? I'm going to call that Templar swing, as opposed to the normal waltz that they do. Mutos are going to come in here and, man, I don't know how many times I have to call this base dead and then it not be dead for me to learn my lesson, but it's going to live once again. Amazingly, those lurkers just did so much damage to the Zealots, and LancerX deciding he didn't want to contest it anymore. Ugh. Alright. Drone coming in for Southpark here. There's an observer going to see that Southpark wants an expansion, but Southpark, he's doing what he needs to do. He's surviving. which is pretty good when your opponent has more than double the supplies. First storm whiffs, second storm does do some good damage on the Mutalisks, but it's not that big of a pack, so it's not a huge issue here of whether the storms hit or not. Just want to get a little bit of damage on and soften up for the Dragoons. They can't do too much, and there's only 2 of them left now, but they can do enough to shut down the 1 probe. Does get most of the buildings down, though, so not going to be a huge issue. The LancerX, a little bit of an inconvenience. Ooh. The triple forge? Triple forge and only one of them going? Okay. Why not? Triple forge and only one of them going. He doesn't have the gas for upgrades right now. Doing a good job of spending his gas. Actually. Yeah. I guess that's just a product of this mineral only, because he hasn't been able to get a 3rd gas yet. This will be his 3rd gas once he gets it, but you don't see a huge number of High Templars. There are a huge number of Corsairs that could have been sapping that gas. It's just not a whole lot of gas for LancerX this game. Southpark, on the other hand, he's got a lot of gas. Been eating some burritos over there. Polish burritos. This would probably be really delicious. Filling burritos with, like, Polska kielbasa. Oh man, I'm hungry now. That was a terrible mistake thinking about Polska kielbasa. Anyway, Lancer moving in for an attack. Southpark moving in for an attack. Looks like Southpark clearly going to be successful here, as the Lings can easily dispatch the cannons. I don't know how much more they're going to be able to get, though. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lancer with a bigger army, but he has to go up against a formidable Lurker sunken defense here. Does look like a significant number of the probes go down. All the cannons lost, but base overall is saved. Meanwhile, how is Southpark going to hold off his? He certainly managed to slow down his opponent. Lings coming out now. Not able to do a whole lot there. Lings can certainly do damage to Dragoons, but not in that small of numbers when the Dragoons are not focusing on other things. We do have a hive. Crack? Yeah, crack. I think Southpark's best bet here is to just mass up Lings like this. Wait until crack's finished, and then as soon as that's done, go. Because 24, 36 cracklings can do a lot of damage to this army. Even if this army is cost a lot more in supply. And actually, Southpark's going to go with his Lings. He wants to actually attack a base as soon as crack finishes, not just try to save his own. So we'll see what he's able to do. Crack still not done yet. Going to go back to the spawning pool, keep an eye on it. Still needs a little bit more. Ooh, are these Lings not going? No, those Lings are. I thought for a second those were going to come in from behind doing a surround, but instead, now going to go for the easy option here and just try to attack with this base. A little bit late, could not quite get there before the cannons went down, but that's fine. Crack is done, and these Lings should be able to kill off this base, depending, of course, on how fast Lancer can get reinforcements here. Apparently pretty fast, and GG without LancerX needing to bust through the front, and LancerX will take the very first game of Swedish Brood War Initiative's Nation Wars. There's a typo in the calendar. Normally, calendar's not my job, but in this case it was, so I take full responsibility for any typos. Hopefully it wasn't a major typo. Did not impede you from figuring out what was going on. Alright. So, going into game number 2. As I said in the beginning, these are best of 3s within the larger best of 7. Oh. Dang it. Okay. My bad. My bad. Alright. That's fine. In the top left, or not top left, just top. In the top position, LancerX is yellow. In the bottom position, Southpark will now be teal. And the map, everyone's favorite, and or everyone's most hated map, Destination. The way that this works, if I'm not mistaken, is there is a set map. I know for sure there are set maps for each set. So Lancer versus Southpark start out on match point, and then, excuse me, and then the next game, whatever that is, will start on a different map, next one on a different map, etc. I believe, though, that every other map is loser's pick from the map pool, where destination is one of the maps in the map pool. I believe the map pool is, excuse me, the map pool is the 6 most recent Kespa maps. So the Jade and the Chain Reaction, the Electric Circuit, that set, plus match point plus destination. I may be forgetting one, but I think that that's it. Alright, so LancerX, Gateway first. Interesting. We are going to have a micro battle in the beginning, that is for sure, because Southpark, very much in Southpark fashion, with the 9-pool speed, completely undeterred, and really, he got very close to doing a lot of damage with his 9-pool speed early game. So, we're just going to have to see whether Southpark's Ling Micro will be able to overcome LancerX Zealot Micro. Probe comes in, gonna see what it needs to, and it might stick around for a little while. Just keeping the Lings at bay for a little bit of extra time would be quite nice. Getting out that one extra Zealot if all the Lings decide to chase it around. And LancerX, in fact, going for a 2-gate. Not a very offensive 2-gate, as 2-gates go. Do believe that's a 10-15. But still, 2-gate is rather aggressive compared to the other things he could be doing. 1-gate tech and whatnot. So, Probe is going to live? Probably. Speed's just finished. It may live. Maybe. He's actually going to lead the Lings away. So LancerX deciding to sacrifice this Probe to buy himself a little bit more time. I like this decision. And I'm kind of surprised Southpark's sending all of his Lings to go chase, when really one would do the job. Wait a second. Do those Lings have speed? Those Lings don't have speed. Was he using his 100 gas on? I guess he didn't pull guys out. This is not going to be 9-pool speed, but 9-pool with a pretty quick gas here, and 2-hatch Hydra. 2-hatch Lurker? It's 2-hatch Lurker or it's 3-hatch Hydra. We'll see. The Overlord does see that LancerX has no Forge Fast Expand, and it's just a 2-gate opening. So, Southpark deciding speed's not the best option versus a 2-gate? Reasonable for him to say. Instead, going to be very aggressive in another direction. A lot of times, these bridges can be terrible for Hydras to try to cross, especially in an early context, but not going to be an issue if your opponent doesn't have cannons up. And I do not see a Forge yet. Alright. Just got set number 3. Or, not set number 3, set number 5. Excuse me. Just got set number 5, so we have the first 5 sets. That leaves just the 2v2 and potentially the ace. Do not know if it's needed yet, as I have not been spoiled to these results. Ling's poking in here, but going to be picked off by Lancer Zealots rather quickly there. And the Zealot does come in and sees the Hydralisk Den. We do have Hydralisk speed, so it's got to be 3-hatch, right? I mean, 2-hatch Hydra isn't a build, right? Right? Have I forgotten Brood War in this past month? Or like 3 months, if you want to count time that I was casting amateur stuff? No disrespect to the amateur stuff, but alright, 2-hatch Hydra versus 2-gate Zealot. And wow, that is such a good position for these Zealots here. Like, Southpark really needs to be trying to get as much distance as he can between the Hydralisks and the Zealots. The Hydralisks have speed. They can micro against those Zealots, as the Zealots are still slow. But if the Zealots are going toe-to-toe with the Hydralisks, they have double the health and do almost twice as much damage. So with no micro, this is going to be a very uphill fight for Southpark. Now Lancer trying to play a little bit of PvP here, essentially. Just have his slow Zealots chase the ranged units away and have a couple extra ones go after workers. Very PvP of him. And the Hydralisks are coming in for counterattack here. There are no... Well, there's one cannon. There is one cannon up that might be able to save it, but... Southpark's kind of in dire straits here, as he's lost a lot of units to try to go for the bust here, and LancerX still has Zealots attacking. That hatchery may in fact go down if there's no way for him to defend it here. There's nothing really to defend the base either. If these 3 Zealots decide to attack, he's going to have to make more units. There are a couple more Hydralisks here. Gonna try to come down and save the hatchery, and this time I can... Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh man, I was gonna be so pissed off if LancerX left that with 16 health and made me look like an ass again. But no, he finished it off. That time it was actually dead. Like, for reals, you guys. It was really, really dead. Alright. And another quick GG from Southpark. LancerX with a very strong start for this nation war. Okay. If you would excuse